We are working on a 2000 Honda Civic. The fault we will be fixing today is the rear door handle does not work. And as you can see right there, our plastic has detached from the outer handle. Just for proof, the door is unlocked, but the outside door handle does not work. We can grab the inside handle to open the door. Here is the replacement part. As you can see how it's supposed to work. It has a lever or a little swing arm that connects to the outside. And as you open your door handle, it pivots this arm. You can see that white clip, and that's what unlocks your door. You can see it is mounted with 2 bolts here, and those are the ones we need to access. Now that we have the door open, we need to remove a few trim pieces to access our bolts. We're going to have to remove this handle, and we got to remove this cover. I have some trim tools that I purchased from Harbor Freight. They're not that expensive. I highly recommend you purchase some of these. These are good to have in the toolbox. I used to use screwdrivers, and it always marred up your interior, and it's just not worth it. These things are too cheap not to have. On this piece, you remove your Phillips head screw. It literally just slides forward. You can see your tabs here that you have to get beyond our door panel. Next, we want to remove this rod. I recommend getting a screwdriver, but sometimes you can get your finger in there and you can actuate the plastic like so. And the rod just lifts up. Like that. There is 2 Phillips head screws that we need to take out now that this trim is removed. Now that all the hardware is removed, we're going to use our trim tools again. And now there is like some Christmas tree garments, I guess you can call them, or clips that is attaching the door panel to this steel frame. And I'm just going to do this to try to find them, and I'm going to work myself around. You can just stick your hands in there and start tearing it out, and that's fine. I might have to do some combination of that, but I just like to use these trims. It gets in there a little bit better, and I have better luck of not breaking the clips. Once we get all the clips detached from our metal door, I guess you can say, we're going to have to lift up over this edge that this channel's sitting in. And I also lowered our door lock indicator, I guess you say, or knob, just to make it easier to slip up beyond. Then we're going to have a wire harness here that we're going to have to attend to. We have our door panel loose. It was fairly easy. That was a combination of using our trim tools and our hands. Once I got a trim tool to kind of allow my finger to get in there, it was a little bit easier just to kind of pull it and just be gentle. I did have one of our clips fall out. This is what we will have to be dealing with. And it should have a slot for us to reinstall that, so you don't want to lose it. And we want to just lift up on it. See how it kind of gets it beyond that knob a little easier. I'm going to need 2 hands because I'm going to have to get to the wiring harness next. You can see now how lowering this knob helps get the door panel over it just so slightly. Here is our wiring harness you have to disconnect. Next, in our case, our water guard is already falling apart or somebody's been in here before. This just needs to be out of the way. It's already torn. Hopefully you can remove yours without doing the same. Next, we want to disconnect this rod. And then we need to get something to get this plastic garment out because we need to get this rod out of the way also. These clips are a pain sometimes. I was able to get it with just a normal Phillips head to unscrew a little bit, and then I had to take a trim tool and just kind of help back it out while I unthread it with our Phillips head to get it to come out all the way. So just be aware of that. That'll make you very frustrated. You have 3 Phillips head screws. We need to take those out to get to a bolt that's going to be behind here. They were really tight. If it was not for having this T-handle screwdriver, I would have had to come up with a different option. So just beware, try not to strip them out. They were really tight. I had to put a lot of torque, and you don't want to strip a round off your Phillips head here. So beware. Next, we need to get this piece here to drop because the bolt is literally on the other side of this. So we need to go back 1 or 2 steps. We need this rod out of the way. And it's as simple as unthreading this here. We have that block out of the way. You can see the bolt right there that we're going to use a socket to get to. And the other bolt is here that we will be using a wrench to get to. For the outer bolt, I used a combination of a 10mm with a universal and a long extension. And I was able to get to that bolt pretty easy because it's almost like right here. So you got to be a little bit of an angle. If you need some hemostats or have a magnet because you can't get your hand in here to hold it as you're unthreading it. And now my bolt has dropped to the bottom. I have my Craftsman gear wrench, and this gets to it real easy. Just nothing but a flat gear wrench. You can use a standard one, but you'll be here a while. So there's one thing critical that I forgot. This side of my car has been hit by a deer. I don't know if you can see it. And that caused a big issue when we took these screws out that I have reinstalled because I needed to test fit everything to give y'all a good illustration. When you take these 3 screws out and your rods are disconnected, this is just supposed to drop down. You do have to pay attention to your child lock, but this just drops down, and then you can access that 10mm that's on the other side of that handle. Well, mine would not drop down low enough to access that 10mm, and I could not figure out why. So I had to take a screwdriver and reach up in there and disconnect my lever. And once I was disconnect the lever, I was able to finagle this piece out of the way. And then I was able to access the 10mm to get to here and take this out. But the problem was reinstalling that rod. You have to reinstall that rod from the outside. My hands are at least too big to get it from the inside. So I cheated and was able to get it apart, but I was not. You have to install it from the outside. So I had to take 2 hammers and this drift, I guess you can call it, bar, and I had to beat out my door. The clearance for this to be able to drop low enough. I had two things against me. The door itself, the sheet metal, was pressed in, and you can see this little rib here. That's your crash bar. My crash bar was in probably about a 1/2 inch also. So I had to get it pushed out too. A lot of banging. I wasn't able to get it perfect, but I was able to get it good enough. I did have to remove this whole piece here, disconnect the wiring harness, disconnect the both rods, and finagle it out. So now let's pick it back up. The right way to do it is your rod has to be installed from the outside, and you just push it in to the clip, put everything, and you reseat it, reinstall 10 millimeter, reinstall 10 millimeter. Earlier in the video, I told you I was using a universal to a 10 millimeter to get through this hole. I found that is not preferred. The universal kind of gives it some slack, which allows it to fall down. Just use it straight like this. It's just a little bit of angle, but it still grabs. I did not have to going back and forth of installing, reinstalling several times to figure out my problem. This was the preferred way. I never dropped the bolt again. Everything else is just reverse Humpty Dumpty. So if your car has a dent on this side, you're going to have to beat out this dent to be able to do this properly. What a big pain. But let me show you. It works. And what's crazy is, I don't know if I got it misadjusted, because it don't take much compared to this one. It opens a lot more. So I don't know if it's because it's a new handle. It's not as much effort, but I'm rolling with it, especially with my situation, and I probably mess up that linkage. Okay, now let's just reinstall everything we took apart. I got to make sure I'm gonna button everything up, get my rods back in order, make sure everything's resecured. Try to put this back in place, maybe use some duct tape. And then I got to put this middle in here, and then we're gonna put our door panel on. I did also forget to mention, I took this bolt out, and this bolt, if you have to take this panel out, or this our latch, you're gonna have to do that. So I'm gonna have to reinstall those. It's a spacer and a bolt, and then a 10 millimeter with a large washer. This is also a 10 millimeter, so I gotta put that back together also. So we got our bolts reinstalled. You can't see this one. You can see I used some Gorilla Tape and put our water guard up. If you're not tracking the water guard, there's going to get water that gets into your door panel. It is what it is. You actually got drains on the bottom of your door, and this just helps with any of that water during the rain to keep it off your door panels, because there's really nothing there for that. So now we have all that in place. We're going to reinstall our door. I'm going to go ahead and lower this, and then you're going to have to put the leg of it over and then down, and then your Christmas tree clips are going in all these holes here. We did have one clip fall out. You can see where it goes. So we're just going to reinstall that clip there. Then we can install our door panel. When put on your door panel, remember to fish your electrical connector through the door, and then you need to line up your doorknob, and then it'll slide down. We got everything aligned back up. Kind of did a little beating around once we got our clips. Make sure there ain't no gap, that maybe a clip didn't line up correctly. Then we installed our 10 millimeter here and here. So when installing your window switch here, you see there's like a little ledge. Hopefully yours doesn't fall out, but mine did. So you got to kind of get everything aligned with the ledge and the ledge here. And then you're going to take your trim cover. We need to orient it correctly. Let's see. Yep, you can see there's on this side of the trim cover, there's a latch there. Next, we need to install our door rod in here, and then clip it in, and then remember there's legs here, and you're going to scooch it back, and then we put a screw in. Fairly simple. Get that clicked in. I didn't have to use no tools, just my fingers. Start from the back. Get everything lined up. We have to get these lined up too, these two holes. Here it goes. Boom. Reinstall this screw, and that should be it. I'll make sure my door is unlocked. Close. As advertised. I'm gonna check the interior door. Works good. Let's put the key in ignition and check our window switch and our door unlock. All right, the key is on. Works like it should. Not gonna lie, I was a little worried of that just because of how I had to beat the door. Now that the door is shut, lock, unlock. All right, everything works like it should. Hopefully that helps somebody kind of a lot. I'm glad I was able to show y'all the full experience. A lot of these videos that you'll watch on YouTube, it looks so easy and they're really not. So I'm trying to show you the full experience. It was very frustrating at times, but we got through it. It works, and we just keep these old cars working. On to the next one.